Hey, what's happening everyone? If you're watching this video, the hope is you've already read the blog post, and if you haven't, pause it, go to the description box below, read the VDIP blog post, that's volume dependent intensity progression, read that blog post. Very simple gist in how this shit works, but there's a lot of little details and nuances that can be very helpful in your own progression, so make sure you check that shit out. Come back here, watch the video, learn how this very simple spreadsheet works. So, this spreadsheet, let's start talking about it. It's got a lot of stuff in there, not all of it's going to be helpful, but it does kind of paint a more vivid picture of what you're doing, what it looks like. And perhaps some of these can be helpful in different ways, as talked about in the blog post. Go read it. The things here that you want to mostly keep an eye on are all up top. Let's start with essentially how you get along on this adventure, how you begin. Into your training maxes, these should be 2 rep maxes you can hit at the start of the cycle, something you could confidently double. Here, drop down to your starting intensities for your movements, just like the basic template. So that's all stuff familiar to you from the basic template. Now what's going to get a little bit funny. Since it's VDIP, all we're worried about here are these starting intensities. The way it progresses is all dependent upon your effort, how much you try, how much you give a fuck about your own training, each individual set. So, you push yourself and you get data, and that data gives you an idea of how you can push yourself and better strategize how you push each individual lift. They're not all going to perform the same way if you execute them in the same function. What I mean by that is, you might be able to get 3 really hard sets back to back to back on a bench press and really not experience too much of a rep drop across those 3 sets, perhaps than normal 1 to 2 reps, maybe 3 reps on that 3rd set. That could be true for the bench press, but for the deadlift, some of us, many of us, if you do one all-out set and get, let's say, 4 or 5, your work capacity is garbage. You're not going to get 3 or 4 on that next one. Come on. And if you do, it's done. So, pay attention to how you execute these movements, because perhaps there's a better way to get it done. Maybe gaming the system a little bit, playing hooky, saving for sure 2 reps on those first 2 sets on the deadlift, and then only pushing it really hard to that 1 rep left in the tank on the 3rd set. By doing that, you're kind of strategizing how you execute these lifts, and all that's going to be tracked down here in your data boxes. So you've got your weights, how many sets you're going to be doing. Remember, it's VDIP, all these for max effort. Max effort, how much you care about your training is how much you're going to progress. So push yourself within those guidelines outlined in the blog post and record your data. Very simple. You could just jot this down, paper, pen at the gym, come back home, da-da-da-da-da, boom. Now you got all these numbers to play with. It's amazing. You come here, all of these add up. All of these sums. Your rep totals, remember, tell you how to progress. So this blue column right here, rep totals, progression guide, brother, sister right here. They're a great combo. They're telling you how to get this shit done, how to execute the VDIP in a fairly smart way. Read that blog post, basically be Einstein on how to make this happen appropriately. Very effectively, I might add. Some very good feedback so far from a few people that have ran this entirely. So, the other bits about this particular spreadsheet, we got down here, different training notes, weekly totals, reps, tons, and pounds earned charts across the tiers, across the weeks. Here, note boxes. Record your end of week notes, and you even have note boxes for the training session. This stuff is actually pretty vital, because during those training sessions is when you have those thoughts about your training, like, maybe I should warm up a bit longer on the squat. And then that's not a mistake you make going forward. That's a mistake you correct. And that makes your training just an eensy bit better from then on out. And all the simple means is just having a place to take notes. There, you got it. Let's get back here into the nitty-gritty of this madness and talk about why maybe some of it doesn't actually matter. So first up, whoa, we're not going to do that. This is not locked anywhere. So don't be afraid. Sometimes that shit happens. It's like scrambling at the top of a mountain. You might fall off and die, but hopefully you don't. Anyways, tier tonnage. This right here could be something that helps you kind of show where some limits are, particularly with the deadlift. I notice myself, if I push any particular workout beyond, like, not necessarily a certain number of tonnages, but if I make like a bigger jump, let's say if I went from this 4,800 to 5,800, like 1,000 pounds, that might be too big. I gotta be more mindful of those size jumps I make as I go up. So it's really not even necessarily reps per set. This matters quite a bit for me in particular on the deadlift, but it might not for you. So keep that in mind. The thing that really matters is this blue column. This green column, all it is going to do is tell you what to do that next week. So here, this person, let's say me, 14 reps. Good job, Cody. You earned 5 pounds. Boom. Add 5. And it carries forward. So easy. And then guess what? These graphs, all they are is your set numbers, since you're just doing 3 per tier across 4 weeks, 12 sets. Easy. And you can just kind of track trends. Here, seeing that the bench press trending upwards, more or less, in that set number in the T2. Who knows? Your work capacity could blow up. All that stuff is talked about in the blog post, so I highly suggest you read that. Scroll down here back to the end of the week, and we have just these weekend totals, so you can compare yourself week to week, your total reps, your tons per tier total on the week, and then your pounds earned down here. This is actually something I quite like, because let's say you have like not such a good workout and you're kind of bummed you didn't earn any pounds in the T1 on like deadlift day. You just like came in by the skin of your teeth. You were thinking you'd get that 5 pounds for sure. Bummer. Guess what? At the end of the week, it doesn't matter. You've added so many pounds. Look, it's 55 pounds. You're dropping 5 out of the deadlift. Come on. That's nothing. So it kind of gives you like a bigger picture down here. Like, this is how much of a good job you're doing. I mean, I kind of like that. I kind of like lying to myself a little bit, telling myself I'm doing a good job when I'm not. Just kidding. You really are. You got data, and we got charts and graphs. This shit's almost scientific. Be sure you read the blog post. Don't be too freaked out about this spreadsheet. I'm basically a caveman and a functional literate when it comes to computers, and I created this. Chances are 99 of you out of 100 are better at computers than me. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for checking out the blog. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I hope you enjoy the read and understand the very simple concept behind volume-dependent intensity progression. If you got questions, leave them in the drop box or description box, comments box, some kind of box, cardboard box, a box truck. Leave any of that, some type of comment in a container of some sort on this page below where you're seeing this video. You'll see where other people are doing it. It'll make sense when you get there. Or hey, go visit our GZCL. It's linked right there in the spreadsheet. Ask some questions. Very helpful people over there. Again, thanks for checking everything out. I appreciate the support. Kick ass. Take names.